Hey, Luke, back. Welcome back to Weather for Weather Geeks, everyone, on this Monday evening. It is the 12th day of August in 2024. I've been away for some time now. I had some planned vacation time over the last 2 weeks, basically during the Summer Olympics. Now, my vacation began a couple of days early, unfortunately. Thanks to everyone who sent some nice messages to me on Facebook in particular. If you follow me on social media, you may have seen that my mother-in-law passed away kind of unexpectedly just before my scheduled time off, so that extended my time off a little bit. And so we've been away for 2.5 weeks now, but we are back on this Monday evening, and the weather has certainly taken a turn for the better over the last few days. Again, make sure you're following me on all the social medias, and thanks to everyone who chimed in with some kind words over that period off, both for myself and my wife, of course, as well. It's been kind of a challenging couple of weeks. That is for sure. All right, our calendar view of August so far. We haven't had that much heat. Yes, it was very muggy last week, but the heat has not been a real big story as of late. So we're running about 2 degrees above the average for August, but our afternoons, we had an 88 on the first day of the month and an 87 a week ago today. But, we haven't hit 90 here in August just yet, and I don't see a 90 happening anytime real soon, and we're kind of stuck at 6. I thought we'd get into the double digits for 90-degree days here in the summer of 2024, but I'm starting to have my doubts that we're going to get there. The heat has kind of underperformed in some respects, not only here locally, but across a lot of the Midwest and Great Lakes states as well. It hasn't been quite as hot of a summer as we were, kind of initially anticipating, although, of course, it has been warmer than the average. And some good news in the precipitation department since we last gathered for Weather Geeks. We've seen plentiful rainfall over the last couple of weeks, pretty much easing us out of the drought we were slipping into towards the middle and latter portions of July. For August so far at the Youngstown Warren Airport, 2.81 inches. Now, a lot of that fell in one day last week, that really stormy day that was last Tuesday. But that does give us a surplus for the month, and for the season we're much closer to average now for meteorological summer at the Youngstown Warren Airport. And of course, rainfall totals vary across the area, but these are the official numbers at the airport in Vienna in Trumbull County. All right, so we're into August now. We're into solar autumn, the 3 months of the year that we lose daylight at the fastest rate, and we're losing about 2 minutes and 20 seconds per day. It's really becoming noticeable, I think, in the evenings. It wasn't that long ago we were pretty close to 9 o'clock p.m. for those sunsets, but today's sunset is at 8:24. Coming up in 2 weeks on the 26th, we're getting pretty close to 8 o'clock. In fact, we'll be at 8 o'clock by, I think it's the 28th or 29th of August, and by September 2nd, right around Labor Day, our sunsets will be at about 7:52. So we're really losing the daylight rapidly, and I think for a lot of us it becomes really noticeable towards the end of the day. Time-lapse video from our Canfield Fairgrounds camera. This camera will show much different scenes in a few weeks, just in time for the Canfield Fair, of course. Looking forward to seeing many of you there at the WFMJ tent for the Canfield Fair once again this year. And at the fairgrounds today and throughout the region, we had a field of cumulus clouds dotting the landscape, but just a delightful day. Great visibility today. Dew points remaining on the low side. Hey, did you catch this last night? Kind of a surprise appearance by the Northern Lights, not only here locally, but in some pretty far south latitudes. Of course, we had a big Northern Lights event a few months ago, back in late spring, early summer. This one was not very well advertised. It was not necessarily expected, but there was a strong burp, if you will, off the sun, a strong geomagnetic storm that did interact with Earth's atmosphere and produce northern lights as far south as Alabama, Tennessee, parts of the Carolinas. And here locally, we got a lot of pictures from our viewers last night, including Angie here in Alliance, showing that beautiful curtain of light captured on the camera. And it's interesting, when it comes to northern lights, sometimes your pictures turn out better than what you see with your naked eye. A lot of times the opposite is true, but a lot of times our cameras, our camera phones, is what most of us use these days, can really capture the scene a little bit better than your naked eyes. And I suspect to your naked eye, the scene wasn't quite this beautiful in most spots last night. I kind of slept through this and really didn't hear much about it until I got up this morning. Also slept through the meteor shower last night, which reached its peak last night. The Perseids is the summertime's best meteor shower. It's one of the best of the year, and it's really nice when we have a good meteor shower in the summer because it's nice outside. One of the best, if not the best meteor shower of the year, the Geminids, occurs in December. It's kind of cold outside. Not exactly great weather usually for hanging out outside and looking up at the sky, but in August, especially with the weather pattern that we have overhead right now. Very favorable, and with the moon setting right around midnight, much like last night, we're going to advise trying to look for these after the moon sets, after midnight, if you're a night owl. This is one for you. Now, even though we reached our peak last night, I think, in a dark spot, allowing for your eyes to adjust, you could see in the double digits per hour the amount of meteors, maybe even in the best circumstances, a few dozen meteors per hour. Again, allow your eyes time to adjust. Don't look down at your phone, because that's going to ruin your eye adjustment process. So just put the phone away, allow your eyes to adjust, time to adjust the dark, and you'll probably see some meteors up there tonight. We'll have a mostly clear sky for a lot of the night tonight. Quick detour down to the tropics, and we have newly named tropical storm Ernesto, with winds of 40 miles per hour. It just was graduated, if you will, to a tropical storm late this afternoon after being a tropical depression, so it got a name. It's Ernesto, and this is a weak system as of right now. It's also moving quickly, 28 miles per hour off to the west-northwest. Now, good news for interests in the U.S. This will not be a concern for the mainland U.S. The swells, the surf might be noticeable by the weekend in Myrtle Beach, the Outer Banks, places like that, but this will not be a direct landfall in the U.S. Ernesto may strengthen into a hurricane as it starts moving off to the north. This is getting a recurve off to the north well before it reaches the Bahamas or anywhere across the southeastern U.S. Back here at home, not much to show you on Futurecast over the next few days, as high pressure will give us lots of sunshine. Now, there's a weak little upper-level disturbance tomorrow that might touch off a renegade sprinkle or a shower in a handful of spots in Ohio. Maybe the better chance is down towards I-70 and out towards I-75 in western Ohio. But even that's just not going to be much. By far and away, the vast majority of the region will have just another beautiful day. The dew points stay low, the sun will be out, a few passing fair weather clouds. Crystal clear then for Tuesday night. Hardly a cloud in the sky on Wednesday. We're going to stay high and dry into the day Thursday, but just on the edge of the screen here Thursday morning. This is finally our next weather maker, which will track our way at the end of the week, Thursday night into Friday. This warm front may spread some showers into the area as early as about daybreak Friday morning, with the raindrops a little more likely as we head towards the mid and late morning into the afternoon on our Friday. Now, the dew points are going to stay very, very manageable all the way through Thursday. We were up here in this range last week, and then that cold front came through, gave us the much more comfortable air mass for the weekend. We're going to stay in that comfortable zone for a lot of this week, but notice the dew points do start spiking by Friday and the weekend. We're back in the muggy air with dew points up into the 60s as we head into the weekend, and we have some rain chances to talk about starting on Friday and taking us into Saturday and Sunday as well. Now, I don't think there's a washout coming Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, but rain chances will probably be elevated thanks to this area of low pressure aloft and upper level lows spinning through the Great Lakes. Trough of low pressure usually means unsettled weather for us, and I think that'll be the case through at least Sunday. And this thing may hang out long enough into early next week that we hang on to some rain chances into early next week. With the heat ridge centered out here, all the heat's going to be centered out here. We're not going to turn hot here anytime real soon. When we look at temperatures compared to average over the next 10 days, nothing to break the bank here. I think the high water mark may be coming up on Wednesday, or Thursday, I should say, with a high of 84. And then after that, upper 70s to around 80 will be the rule into at least the middle portions of next week. Now, we don't want to close the book, certainly, on summer. It's only August the 12th, I should say. We can hit 90 into late August and even into September. It's always hot, it seems like, for the Canfield Fair. So we're not closing the book on heat for the summer, but over the next 10 daes, the pattern will not support anything all that hot by August standards here in eastern Ohio and western PA. Thanks for welcoming me back onto your devices, onto your computer, onto your TV screen here on Weather for Weather Geeks. Again, make sure you're following me on all the social medias, and I'll see you right back here on YouTube on Tuesday.